Morning, Jody.
There's Jody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
everyone.
You're home.
Yes, I'm home. And I want to say it feels really good, and it does. And there's a lot of work around here. There's been two teenage boys running the house for a couple weeks. And then to their defense, they did a better job than they have the last time.
Aw,
Well,
They
how long
tried.
were you gone for?
I think it was 2 weeks. Might have been three.
Ooh,
I don't know.
well, that's a long time they could get into trouble.
One of them is 19 and home from university for the summer, so he's not really a kid anymore. And he was supposed to be the only one here. The other one was supposed to be staying at his dad's. But he just, had a million different reasons why he wasn't making it over there. So, anyways, they did pretty good. But it's not like how a mom would do it for sure. So,
Sure.
yeah, I got some deep cleaning to get to and things like that. So, yeah, but it is nice to be home. It's nice. And it's grad coming up. High school grad is in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. So,
So,
thanks.
and is your son graduating now, the younger one?
The baby is graduating. Yeah.
aw,
Yeah, that'll be the last of the five. Between Fred and I, there's five, and Silas is the youngest. So, yeah, it's exciting.
all
Uh-huh.
boys?
No, we each have a girl. My daughter
Okay,
is my oldest, and he has a daughter that's his oldest. So, girl, boy, boy.
all right, all right.
Unspell yourself.
Mm,
Yeah, so this is a space where we come to really, well, to unspell ourselves and to be in the practice, like to the community vibe of helping us stay focused on the action of doing a spell break on ourselves. My intention, my desire, my dream, my hope is that more people are able to use this tool in the in the as they move more towards the life that they prefer. I heard Ed say it really clearly yesterday. I forget what happened. Oh, the person getting a spell break had technical difficulties, so there was that little interlude where Ed filled in some space. And he again reiterated the idea that spell breaking is not the thing. Like, it's not the thing. Oh, he said, but it is a really cool thing to learn how to do. And I think you can get kind of a high from having a spell break. It's like,
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
oh my God, that's like so amazing. And what he points out is that your brain very quickly says, well, that was fun, like coming out of hell and into like feeling like, that was really fun. Now here's an infinite number of things that you can apply spell breaking to, and you
mhm.
can really get caught in that loop, which as a company with a vision to see more people living the life of their dreams, and I'm making this up, I just am imagining that they scratch their heads and are frustrated AF by seeing people get it, use it, and then not have the results, like the actual tangible results that they want to see in their life. And so they're like, why is that happening? Like, why is that happening? We're giving them the keys to the kingdom. And I think that's part of what they're seeing is that it becomes like, it's just, wow, I just got one more spell to break. Oh, I just got to get the, okay, well, that feels much better. I don't
Mm,
like that anymore. But now I just got like one more spell, one more spell, one more spell.
interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. And
So
it
they keep waiting to arrive.
kind of, I think that I personally believe that in my own experience, the spells that come up when I move towards a new level of income, a new level of relationship, a new level of health, The spells that come up as I step into more of what I prefer, they don't, they're wildly more, I don't know, impressive. I want to try to use a positive word. Impactful, noticeable.
Get your attention more.
They really don't compare to the ones that I felt were kind of like heavy blankets that I needed to shed in order to get somewhere, like that kind of like coming out of hell. Those spells, I'm used to those ones. I'm familiar with those ones. And then the new ones, the ones that I haven't danced with them. I'm not familiar with them. I'm like in a new relationship, in a new income bracket, in a new, everything's new, including the spells that come up. So perhaps for that reason, it just kind of feels a little bit more discombobulating, or it's like I'm barely standing. I don't know myself yet, and I got a spell to do. So for various factors, perhaps. Anyways, so cutting your teeth on, yeah, just give me 2 seconds. Learning to spell break yourself. Personally, I think a part of this is to really surrender to I don't know if it's true just because I believe it, but surrendering to the reality, I don't know, that there's not going to be, you're never going to be finished. You're not going to be like, there, that was all my spells. It's learning to like it's a way of existing, learning to like go into a new income bracket and continue to feel sadness, anger, and fear and keep living, stay alive, keep moving. And that's where this space comes in. Because I don't think it's feasible to just like try to live your life in a way that you can like put 50 grand in the bank so that you can spend it on a 4 day and then go get a bunch of spells cleaned up by hanging out with Brian in person. You know what I mean? Like, you want to learn how to do it and definitely play around. Like, it's not, you don't have to save your 50 grand, but you got 50 grand kicking around. So you're like, you know what I want to do? Forget the cruise. I'm going to hang out with Brian for a weekend. That's how I want to spend my, because I want to play that way. Right. So, Catherine, what were you going to say?
Yeah, it was interesting as you were sharing that. I was really listening, and what was coming up for me was all those years I spent in therapy. And when I'd get to the room, she'd say to me, "So, what are we going to work on today?" And that kind of has followed me, and what I'm learning, what I'm opening up to with spells is instead of saying, like you said, when you break some spells and then other stuff just bubbles up, instead of saying, "Oh, I need to work on that," just as Brian would say, it's not homework, it's home play.
Yeah.
Well, let's play with this today. Let's have fun with this today. Let's see what this isn't that interesting. What's this about? And just really breathing into it and feeling it rather than analyzing it. And I just did a session this morning with somebody, and I finally had the courage to say to her, I love you. The only thing I've been wanting to say for weeks is your PhD is getting in the way. Just put your PhD on that throne and tell it to get the fuck off your throne. Just be here. And she was like, she just started to cry. She said, "Oh my God, I needed to hear that. I get it. I get it."
Yeah.
And I said, just go and be with that, and let that bubble up. Because man, I just not broken, right? I've been broken my whole life trying to fix
Mm-hmm.
with therapy and books and self-help and meditation and spiritual, metaphysical master's degrees, certifications, and
Yeah.
then coming here and saying,
I was
more work to do.
And that I think we'll find that is the common denominator in a lot of ways across the board of people that attract to Brian's work. If you watch his ads that are pulling in the most people, that is the premise of it.
And
You
look at how playful Brian is.
yeah, totally. And
He's
so,
just playful.
so
Yeah.
this work and this unspell yourself space is really just taking that practical aspect of what does it mean to unspell yourself
Yeah.
and really understanding the tool so that you can use it in the middle of the grocery store or in the middle of your bookkeeping or in the middle of creating an inspired idea, like creating content that you felt inspired to create. Like, I don't know who else is, I've had this experience so many times. I get an idea and it's what I can feel that it's not, I didn't think about it. It just like, it's like, oh, and then I hear myself go, that'll work. That'll work. Oh my God, that'll work. And initially it's very exciting. And then I start to create it. And that's when all the doubts and all the what the fuck was I thinking? And I'm not good enough to do this. And it's never turns into this like artful masterpiece that I compare it to with other, like, anyways. So in the process, that's when I really need to be present with my spell breaking skill while I'm creating and while my head starts going, this is going to be a flop. People are going to make fun of you. This isn't normal and nobody needs this. What were you thinking? That's when that's, so that is my intention with this space, is to try and take the mystery out of spell breaking and make it into a really practical tool. It's not very complicated. So the first step the first step in an unspell yourself is let yourself notice what is bothering you. Oh, you could change one thing. Brian was about to pop into this room. Guess what, you guys? Surprise visit from Brian happening in 5 minutes. What would you want to ask him if you were like right now put in a session with him? He would say to you, have you suffered long enough and are you ready to change?
Mhm.
And are you open to the possibility that you're the creator of your entire reality? And if either of those are a no, he still loves you. So do I. But you don't want to dance with him. And that's all he's asking for, right? If either of those are a no, then he'd say, well, have a great day.
Have a great day.
So those, those are optional, but those you got to ask yourself if you're open to that. And if that is true, then anything that's in your creation that you do not prefer, so whatever it is that you're thinking, oh, I don't like this, I wish this thing in my life could change, you're the creator of that. And you don't mean to be, which implies you're under a spell. You're creating from under a spell. So first you want to get aware. What is some shit I'm creating that I don't like? What do I wish was different in my life? And it is recommended to turn to your journal for this part. If you're in conversation with somebody getting a guided self spell break, for sure you can do it out loud. But when you're doing it with yourself, you want to, especially if you're not aware of like, what am I feeling? What's my emotion? Then write down your what is your subconscious mind holding on to? So what do I want? And if I got that, I'm afraid if I got that, they would, what would people say? What would people do to you? Who would be upset? Whose feelings would you hurt? Who would you disappoint? I'm afraid if I got that, I would lose. What's the other one? I forget the third one. I'm afraid if I got that,
Then they will.
yeah, then they will. I'd lose. What's the other one?
Oh, it's
Have to.
Have to.
Oh, I'd
I'd
have,
have to.
yeah, have to. What would you have to do? I'm afraid if I got X, I'd have to. And as you're journaling, you got one eye on your body. You actually can have all your attention on your body. But you want to be noticing, just noticing for when an emotion, when a feeling, when it sort of pings. It's going to be different for everyone. And how it is for you is perfectly, totally, completely fine. So even if you're like, I don't know what the emotion is. I don't think I feel an emotion. Fine, that's fine. You can just put 0 in the column of emotion. Like it's okay. Or you can put, those I just, I think maybe more common than I don't know what the emotion is a whole bunch of other words for emotions. So what I was just thinking is imposter syndrome, like, oh, I'm experiencing imposter syndrome. That's a concept. And that's fine, right? Like let yourself move into the body on whatever sort of path is lighting up. So I noticed myself thinking, oh, I'm feeling imposter syndrome. And then I don't freak out about that. I don't get on my case. I'm not like, oh, Jody, how long have you been doing this? You should know an emotion is anger, sadness, or fear. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I noticed myself have the thought, I'm feeling imposter syndrome. And then very gently just ask myself, okay, imposter syndrome. If I had to distill that down to anger, sadness, or fear, which one would I pick? Which one sort of feels most appropriate? Don't overthink it. And for me, I would say there's a predominant emotion is fear. And because I'm slowing myself down and letting myself really look, I can see, oh yeah, it almost seems like there's sadness just kind of right behind the fear. How I can see that or notice that or perceive that it's a bit mysterious, but that's what I'm picking up. There's predominantly fear and there's sadness behind it. Good for me. Yay. So I went from the mental body, which is where we usually like to hang out, into the emotional body. And I got the answer that I just shared. And now I want to go into the physical body. So dropping my attention into any sensation that catches my attention. And for me right now, there is a little bit like a Nerf football, not like a full-size football, but like a Nerf-sized football shaped sensation in where my stomach organ sits. It's about a 3 in intensity. It's got a bit of movement to it, but it's kind of solid, sort of not solid, kind of like butter, kind of like squishy solid. And I can perceive a center to it. So ask yourself those same questions, same sort of idea. Notice how I'm not dialoguing in any way about what is imposter syndrome, what might this fear be related to. I'm moving my attention in a direction that we have been taught. Like, so Catherine just gave us this great example of how she finally shared with somebody, your PhD is getting in the way. Your PhD is going out into the mental body. Yes, there is a place for that. But in terms of setting yourself free from your spells, you're not going to find it in your mental body. Your mental body just sort of helps us to wake up sensation. That's why when you come in here, the offer is bring up your shit. Bring up the stuff you don't want to look at. Let it come up. Let yourself remember whatever it is that you're afraid of, or or don't perceive that there'd be any value in thinking about, how uncomfortable you might feel in your own skin on a day-to-day basis, how much you wish you were not you, things like that, things that other people have trained us that you do not bring that up in conversation. Nobody wants to hear about your suicidal ideation. That makes other people uncomfortable. Meanwhile, if you're a human being, you have thought about it. It's totally normal. It's completely universal. But if you bring it up, nobody can swallow their toast anymore. And so you're a problem, right? We've learned this stuff. We've learned a million different reasons to keep our shit hidden, but not in here, because we're unspelling ourselves. So letting it come up. Now it's not a trick, but the change, we've suffered long enough. We're ready to change. The change is get out of your mental body and move into the physical body with your attention. And get curious about the sensation, not about what it means. Just really get to know that aspect of yourself that lights up when you let yourself be honest about your darkest, deepest hidden thoughts. They're dark and deep and hidden in a universe of your creation. Right? I've been on this little rant about, it's very much as if you spent the first however many years of your life building a very impressive, detailed haunted house with all of your worst fears in each room. And then the second half of your life, you bought a ticket to this haunted house, you walked into it, and you've been a victim to all the rooms you built. Not anymore. Not anymore. And so, of course, if that's the situation, it makes a ton of sense to try and look at each room and ask yourself, like, how can I redesign this room? How could I do this differently? How can I change the wallpaper? How can I change what the people in this room are doing all the time? So we keep all of our attention focused on our creation. But you're the creator. And if you shift your attention into the physical body, into that sensation, and get way more interested in the sensation, not what it means, you're going to want to pop back out into your physical body. I mean, your mental body. Because that sensation, just looking at it, now here's the sort of catch, or the clincher, or whatever. This shit works. That's why you're going to experience a bit of a struggle to stay in the sensation and out of your mental body. Because all of the rooms in your special haunted house, each one of those rooms, you put there because at the time you believed that you would be safe by creating all of these external distractions, simply so that you wouldn't look at the sensation and express your feelings. Doesn't mean running around talking about your feelings all the time. That's not what expressing your feelings means. It can mean that. And when you want that as your preferred, you'll be free to do it. But expressing your emotions, expressing your feelings is the action of keeping your attention on the sensation in your body while you exhale. Because you're a powerful creator. And where you put your attention is where your energy flows. And so the change we're craving is to take our attention out of the already created rooms that are scaring us and putting your attention inward. And legit, a PhD would make that more complicated because there's just so much more energy invested in knowing. And the PhD is not a villain. It's just knowing when it's in your power to put your attention through the accumulated knowledge you've picked up and when to put your attention on yourself. Now, here's the other thing. Every single thing you're going to do for the rest of your time in this body, in this planet, you're going to be most effective if your attention is coming through your body first. There's a sequence. Physical body, emotional body, mental body. And for the most part, we've been flowing our attention anywhere but into the physical body. It's all through the mental body, all through the mental body. So there's lots of fun stories about why we are so kind of crazy. Some of them include that we've been heavily, heavily shamed for being selfish. And so putting your attention on yourself first, on yourself, can bring up alarm bells. And that's okay, because guess what? Life has a whole bunch of alarm bells waiting for you. It's just emotion. It's just energy in motion. And so as we're here in an Unspell Yourself, like sort of formal, this is what we're doing, we bring up something we're uncomfortable with, something we want to change, something we've been wanting to change for a long time, haven't been able to do it. We bring up something uncomfortable, and then we shift our attention internal to the sensation. So imagine if you are in a haunted house, but it's not a haunted house, it's an actual horror setting. Like if you're actually in danger. I don't know how you got there, but you're in this like crazy house. You got to get out. So imagine in that circumstance, if you decide, oh, I'm going to take my attention away from all of these things that are trying to get me, and I'm going to move my attention internal and start breathing with my eyes closed. I'm even going to close my eyes. Imagine the fear level that's going to come up in you as you remove your sensory, like you start to pull your senses from your external surroundings to the internal. Your body is going to kick into fight or flight. And when it does that, it overrides your choice. You won't be able to keep your eyes closed in fight or flight. You'll always be wanting to open them and look around. You'll always be wanting to go out to your mental body so that you can get away from the sensation in your body. Your attention, you'll be fighting your own built-in mechanism to keep your attention internal. And so when you first bring your attention internal, you might start hearing, you're selfish. Oh my God, are you working on yourself again? Like whatever the sort of the quote unquote attack of your brain might get louder. And so the 5-layer breath that you're simultaneously all doing, I know you are. The 5-layer breath is you choosing to calm your body down to start to breathe yourself into presence so that you don't have to fight your attention wanting to go back into the PhD, go back out into the mental body. If you find a sensation, then just right away start to figure it out. Is this an inner child? Which inner child is this? It's oh, I remember this one. I've met this one before. This is here because of this. Oh, here's that old thing again. That's all mental body. And you feel safer in your mental body because it lines up with the level of fight or flight that your body is just sitting at. So the 5-layer breath, the breathing yourself into presence, is part of how you'll be able to do this more on the fly. When you're out in the grocery store, when somebody, you know, I don't know, you see somebody who you don't have a very great relationship with, and normally you don't see them, and all of a sudden, boom, you run right into them at the grocery store. And your stress level just whoosh, spikes. But you are equipped. You've been practicing 5-layer breathing. Because unless they're coming at you with a knife, you do not need to go into fight or flight. Even if they're coming at you with angry words, you do not need to go into fight or flight. There's very, very, very rare circumstances that you would benefit from fight or flight. And you don't have to worry about those. If you need fight or flight, it will be there for you. The trick is learning to be out of fight or flight and being sane 99% of your life. So that if somebody is upset and they're marching towards you in the aisle at the grocery store, you're okay with that. There's no physical threat coming your way. And you can stay present. And yeah, for sure, your history with people coming towards you in an angry fashion will give you more or less in that moment to digest. And so let's just, stay in that imaginary scenario. Now, in that moment, to stay and digest and to stay in your power means to turn your attention inside of yourself and pay attention to your sensation with this person marching down the aisle. And just notice, I don't know if you guys can kind of really be in that scenario. For me, I notice, woo, that brings up some alarm bells. I notice my brain saying, are you sure I'm safe? Are you sure that the safest thing to do is bring my attention inward? So it takes a bit of practice. Don't take my word for it. You'll notice for me, the most convincing experience that I had was when I shifted my attention internal and stayed present for emotion when every habit in my body was telling me to attack the person that I felt was doing me harm. Like not physically, but to get them under control and to tell them how I wanted them to treat me and all that kind of stuff. But instead of doing that outward behavior, instead of redecorating one of the rooms in my haunted house, I chose to take responsibility for my creative power. And in the middle of all of this going on, I shifted my attention internal and I really felt the sadness and the fear and the anger. And they were coming in waves, and it was, it wasn't a super tidy process. There's lots of tears, probably more snot than anyone wants to take credit for. It was not pretty. But I didn't do one single thing. I didn't say one word to shift the situation. And well, in fact, the one thing I did, so the person that was doing this was like, this is insane. Like, I don't like seeing you so upset. Like, I'm going to stop doing, they offered to stop doing what they were doing. but the thing was, is what they were doing wasn't rational, that it was affecting me like that. So I said to them, don't you dare stop. I want to go through. I want to feel this. I want I don't usually put myself in positions where I get to feel like this. So please do not, under any circumstance. And, this still is my partner. And he was like, this is not, I don't like this. Like, I don't like watching you like this. And that's when I realized too, oh, I need to be able to feel safe in this relationship, that if I like it, it's like I realized my emotional expression was really uncomfortable for him. And that was the one space where I said to him, if you want to do something different, please don't ask me to stop having this emotional experience. And so we went through that experience, and I just kept breathing and feeling my feelings and breathing and feeling my feelings. And my brain wanted to get in there and remind me why I was being victimized and why I needed, like, it wasn't fair and all this stuff. I just kept breathing and feeling my feelings. And what do you know? My perception of the situation completely changed. And I was liberated from being so afraid that I wouldn't be able to handle it if somebody treated me in a certain way. And yeah, and the way I was perceiving being treated was so not accurate. I was insane. I was genuinely misperceiving the entire situation. So now when I choose to shift my attention internal, when the shit's really hitting the fan, that's kind of the thing. It's like, you will be right about all the things that you created in the haunted house. So when you shift your attention internal and breathe, and everything around you morphs into more of the preferred, then you find yourself in the grocery store and somebody's marching towards you, and you shift your attention internal. Now here's another thing you guys will probably like to hear. You can shift your attention internal and breathe 5-layer breath with your eyes open. So you don't have to squeeze your eyes closed and squat down into lotus pose in the grocery store while somebody is marching towards you. You can just keep your eyes open, shift your attention inside to whatever sensation is present, and check your breathing. Just by this point, you can just do a quick rapid check because you're really good at it. And your body's like, I gotcha. Yeah, I know how to breathe. Like, I gotcha. We're breathing. Here we go. We're staying present. It gets like that. It's not too big of a deal because it's your body's first nature of how to breathe. Your tongue will start moving. Your inhales will match your exhales. You'll have nice, smooth transitions from the inhale to exhale because you'll sort of, it's kind of like saying, whatever this person is upset about, whatever they're going to say to you, they're not going to interrupt your inhale to exhale. Only you can take that away from yourself. Only you can start to shallow breathe because you are terrified. So you're going to continue animating yourself, continue being alive in this moment of someone coming to tell you whatever they're pissed off about. Eyes open, standing up nice and straight, smile on your face, welcoming it. So Brian just did this amazing communication class that everybody's like anxiously waiting for it to get available so we can watch the replay. But part of really good communication is that, so here you are, you're standing up nice and straight, your eyes are open, you're just breathing like a normal, sane person, right? You're not like, oh, hi, oh, I'm just 5-layer breathing. because I got this new technique where I stay present no matter, right? You're just sane. They wouldn't notice anything. You have a smile on your face. You're welcoming. They're just stomping down the aisle. They're really upset. They got something to tell you. And you are choosing to listen to understand them. There's no defensiveness. Whatever they have to say, you either want to find out if you agree with it. You want to find that out. You want to find out, is there any truth in what they're about to say? Because now that you're learning how to stay present in every moment, first of all, you recognize, oh, here comes one of the rooms in my haunted house. Oh, look what I created. Oh, I wonder what this version of me is coming to offer me. They seem real heated up about it. I must really want to hear this. So you're meeting them and whatever, or any situation in your life, you're meeting it with presence. You're not afraid of shit because you're the creator. Surely that's landed by now. That's, this haunted house thing is like, I really mean it. You designed a haunted house and then you bought a ticket, and as soon as you walked through the door, you forgot that you made it. And you're terrified of all the displays, right? So if a person's marking down the aisle to tell you off, imagine being so grounded that you're welcoming it. You might say to them, oh gosh, can you like slow down? I can't even catch every word. Like, I really want to hear everything that you have to say. And if they say something that you agree with, your emotions are going to spike. If they say something that you agree with that you think is bad, your emotions are really going to spike. And because you're now aware, oh, wait a minute, I'm the powerful creator here. So if my emotional body is like ding, 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 lots of emotional body, where should your attention go first? Physical body. As I know you know. But if we're being honest, where habitually up until now, which direction, mental body or physical body, would your attention want to go to feel safer in that grocery store? It's going to want to go into your mental body, isn't it? It's going to want to argue back. It's going to want to say, everything that you're yelling at me is a misperception. You've got it wrong. These are the reasons. Okay, maybe I did do that, but I didn't mean to. And you don't understand that it was this, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's listening to understand each other. There's no real communication happening there. Now, we think that it's between two people, but it's actually a reflection of your relationship with yourself. This is just a manifestation of an energy in you. So in that moment, I know it feels safer to go into your mental body. That's old patterns. In that moment, you bring your attention inward, and whatever sensation is there is actually the exact representation of this manifested lunatic in the grocery store. So when you turn your attention inward, you're taking responsibility for your creative energy. And when that really drops in, that dynamic of the fear spiking because you turned your attention inward instead of turning it to where you've been practicing for decades and being strong in your intellect. It's like, imagine if you had been training your whole life to be really good with a bow and arrow. And then somebody is like, have you ever heard of guns? I don't know why I'm using this example. I'm not a hunter, or I'm not interested in guns. But anyways, somebody says, have you ever heard of guns? They're way more powerful and quicker, and you don't have to like whatever. But you're really skilled at the bow and arrow. But you kind of buy into it. You're like, okay, well, the bow and arrow is not really like working for me. I'm really good at it. So I'm using the bow and arrows like your intellect. You're really, really good at it. But something isn't working. You've struggled long enough and you're ready to change. And so the change is letting go of this thing that you've been using to keep yourself safe letting go of the illusion that if you just fix the haunted house, you'll be okay, and shifting into your actual power. But at first, like, maybe later today, that's going to happen to somebody in the grocery store. And you're going to want to grab your bow and arrow because you're used to it and you're good at it. But you're going to shift to your attention being internal, and you might just start crying right in front of the person because there's so much emotional charge, and it's just like, it might be, not very cool. But that's why we come here and practice in a much, you're at the shooting range. You're learning how to use your gun before you need to use it in an attack. This is a terrible example. Nobody's attacking anybody. I'm very much not pro-violence. I'm just trying to point out, when you feel afraid, you're going to, it really is a strong habitual pull to go to what you normally feel safest with. And don't underestimate how long you have honed that skill and how replicated it is in all the people around you. Like, that person coming down the aisle is expecting a verbal back and forth fight. And they'll most likely get it with most of the people in the world. But if you are practiced and you're staying present and you are coming, like, imagine being in a space where you are welcoming that, where you're like, ooh, look what's coming down the aisle. This is awesome. I wonder what energy, what creative energy I'm going to be allowed to release right now. So the 5-layer breath. It's not complicated, even though there's lots of little intricate details. Again, you can come out of your mental body and be in the 5-layer breath in your physical body. Feel the air, feel your life, feel yourself coming in through your nose. Feel it. Feel yourself coming out of your mouth. Feel your belly initiating that in that inhale. Feel your stomach constricting and initiating the exhale. Get really intimately aware of your body breathing. So that in that grocery store, you can very quickly move into powering up your suit. Get really intimately aware of the inhale changing to the exhale. Feel it. Your eyes are closed. You don't have any visual input. It's not an analysis of that transition. It's a felt, focused attention awareness. And so you're getting more and more powerful as you really check in on this breath. So this person, it's a really long grocery store aisle, really long. And you see them coming and you can tell, uh-oh, they're not happy with me. And you maybe even know why. You're like, oh shit, I've been avoiding them for years. Here it comes. And so you're preparing. It's not really a thing, but you're taking, you only have, I don't know, it's a long aisle, but still, you only have 3 minutes would be a long, long, long aisle. And you're just checking, okay, whew, how am I breathing here? Am I letting the inhale? Am I breathing as if this isn't going to like destroy my life? Am I taking in a full inhale and letting out a full exhale? Am I transitioning from the inhale to the exhale, like there's nothing, there's like I'm sitting here staring at a sunset beach, not watching an angry person come down the aisle. Right? You moving into the, because whatever they're going to say, you're going to want to be present for it. Isn't that kind of a, can you feel the contrast there? Where it's like, no, I don't. I want to actually run away from this. I actually want to like duck down a different aisle. Ah, learning to be present in your life. You created it. How many different haunted house rooms do we like create and then spend all our time trying not to ever see what we put in those rooms? Ah. And then checking, oh, can I go a little further into my belly? Like you're so self-centered by the time they get there that you don't even, oh, right, you forgot they were coming. Oh, hi. Oh, whew, hey, I was just totally invested in like being with myself here for a minute. Yeah, and then a smile. So by the time they approach you, you're breathing as if there's nothing to be afraid of. And you're even smiling. And you might find yourself saying, oh, I'm glad you finally got here. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Like, honestly, I just really, I'm really would love, I'm just so present. I'm behind my ears. I'm living through my body first. My ears are on. Ah, I'm sane right now. I'm standing in my body. And I am open to receive whatever you have to say. And whatever they have to say, you know, if they're like, I've hated you my whole life, you ruined my childhood, you're a horrible, horrible person, I know what you did. I don't know what they would have to say. But you're still intimately watching your breath. You're listening to them, but you're still also able to notice yourself. And you can take your time in responding. It might sound something like, thank you so much for telling me all of this. I'm going to sit with it. Have a nice day. They're you. They are a version of you giving you a gift. And so is a stack of bills you don't know how to pay for. Like that's, you know, it's not like somebody marching down the grocery store, but it can feel like that. You know where that pile sits in your house. So what if you got really grounded and present and breathing and then looked at the pile and then opened each one? Like it sounds, you know, we like to sort of think maybe that this stuff sounds crazy until you actually like really get down to it. And it's like, who's crazier in the store? Who's sane? So any amount of time you spend breathing with your attention inward, allowing your inhales to transition to the exhales smoothly and the exhales to the inhales smoothly. You're practicing on that effective, again, bad example, but that effective weapon. You're learning a new skill. You're putting your bow and arrow down, even though that's what's made you feel the safest up until now. You're putting that down and you're shifting. You're changing into presence. You're being there for the life of your creation. This is the life you've already created. You stay present for it. You can integrate that sensation that's simultaneously present when the door to one of your haunted house rooms flies open. You take responsibility for the creative energy in you and you liberate those pieces of energy so you can create again. You can create again. And that's why the second question is, are you open to the possibility that you're the creator of your entire reality? And if that is a no, that's fine, but you don't want to live this way then. Because the bow and arrow and the haunted house and the yelling at somebody in the grocery store, those things work perfectly fine. They'll get you mediocre. They'll get you whatever results, it works. Because you are the creator. So you do get to make the rules. So if you want to live with spell breaking as your tool, then from my observation and what I hear the leaders at L5 talking about, a person can use L5, use spell breaking, and sort of still stay inside of their haunted house. So I would love, and hopefully this is valuable service in assisting us to sort of take the spell break out of the sessions and utilize it in the grocery store, in our offices, in our relationships, in our lives. In our lives. Because it's powerful. It's powerful AF, and it's not that big of a deal. You can use it in the middle of the grocery store. You can break spells right on the fly, right on the fly. And some people might have to get, go live through the discomfort of seeing you cry in the grocery store, or seeing you cry at the dinner table, or seeing you red with rage. Like, you get to feel your feelings is what I'm trying to say. And you're not going to be wrong about the people that you perceive that will make uncomfortable. So what? It's your creation. Liberate yourself to feel your feelings. Liberate yourself to shift your attention inward. And in my experience, I don't know if it'll be this way for everyone. In my experience, it was real messy for that experience that I was sharing. Real messy, real snotty, lots of tears. But it's not always like that. In fact, there are more often now times where emotion comes and goes so quickly, but I'm present with it. Nobody would notice. It's not that big of a deal. It's energy in motion. And when you let it remain in motion, it's like, I had a little opportunity to chat with Abigail Morgan. She's on the team. And she was like, oh yeah, I have that issue. I have it slotted to like work on a spell break. She's got just like this. She's got slotted times of her day where she sits down and works on spell breaks. And I got curious about that idea. And I'm doing it too. So I get it. But I was like, I bet you Brian doesn't have structured spell breaking times of the day. And she said, no, he does not. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure that he doesn't, because he's spell breaking on the fly constantly. So, but if you're going to like switch from a bow and arrow to a gun, you've got to go to the practice range. That's where Abigail and I are at. That's where you guys are at. We got to go to the practice range so that we start to trust our new technique, so that we can pull it out in the middle of what looks like a very threatening altercation in the grocery store. And again, depending on your history with angry people, that could be like a level, like a real high level of like, I can't stay present for this. This is red alert, red alert, red alert. My fight or flight is going bonkers here because this has been a real threat in my life. I have been physically injured by this type of emotional charge coming at me. Right? So it's a process. It's a dance. And hopefully we get stronger at it. So that was a bit unconventional, even for this space. Does anyone want to unmute, say what they received, what new awareness, how they're going to use this, anything like that?
Well, I want to say you make it sound very doable. Somehow it seems more possible even in the most horrible situations. And since we're in a small safe spot, I was noticing within, you know, your example of this aisle and somebody walking towards you, and I think, no, this is impossible. Even in this situation where years and years and years passed, I experienced somebody while making love dying on top of me. And while you were speaking about the haunted house and about the aisle thing, no, that's not possible. How could I ever breathe through that and just invite that? But while you were talking, I think, yeah, even then it's possible.
Wow.
You know, it's an alternative to totally going bonkers and crazy and screaming and whatnot. And just to have this as an option is just, I love the way you explain it. You're an awesome teacher, really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wonder, so I told you guys initially, I was sitting with imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't know where all that stuff comes from, the haunted house and the bow and arrow and all that stuff. And hearing you say that, I just kind of realized I need to hear that too. Like, I need to come, like, these stories, these ideas about how easy, how sensible, like it almost suddenly drops in. It's like, wait a minute, it would, at first it seems like to smile and stand up straight and breathe while somebody's marching down the aisle at you seems like that's kind of a crazy response. But the more I sort of talk through it, the more it brings, like, my new awareness is the person that can smile and receive whatever angry nonsense is coming their way. That is the sane. That is sane. It's sane to feel safe when somebody, even when somebody dies on top of you. Like, any situation, it is sane to stay present for. And, you know, especially when we add in the awareness that we created it. Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that. And I need to hear it too. Yeah.
So I ended up, when I first started today, I was going to leave a little early to go to urgent care because I've had this rash that's getting worse, and finally went on the internet and figured out what it was. And so then when I'm listening to this and I'm breathing, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not Brian, I'm not necessarily there yet, but I'm going. And so at one point I'm going, well, I'll just go there, get the information, but won't use it. You know?
I'll just be a little bit crazy.
Yeah, just a little bit. And then I kind of went, okay, I got to start believing in myself, in my power, that I created it for a reason. And I know it it brings me back into my body all the time because it itches so much. So I've just got to breathe. So it's there for a reason, but I'm getting really sick of it. And my husband's kind of going, yeah, you should go to urgent care. So yeah, it's
Yeah, because that, sorry to interrupt, that is that element of, when we feel uncomfortable, the people that love us get uncomfortable and they don't want that usually, right? They're like, okay, stop. I don't like watching, I don't like seeing you uncomfortable. And it's like, wait a minute. That's part of that programming that we accidentally, like, it's really not, it's a loving intention. But when we ask our loved ones to stop being uncomfortable in front of us, that is something that we really want to be like, well, I no. I am going to continue to be present and I'm going to feel uncomfortable, and you can just deal with whatever is triggering in you that is making you think that you're responsible for how I feel. Right? Like, we don't have to give anyone a speech. He's welcome to, but anyways, that's that dynamic, right? Our loved ones don't like seeing us uncomfortable. Don't like expression of discomfort. Yeah.
and for say a week ago is really, come on, you got to do something. No, I'm not going to. And then he just let it go, but it was still an energy there. And then I again chose to say, I don't trust myself. I'm not Brian. Like,
Good awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one other offer might be, so, he says, come on, you got to do something. And you say, no, I'm not doing anything, but that's not true.
Doing something.
You're doing a lot.
Yes.
And you could share that with them, right? Like, oh, it must look to you like I'm not doing anything about this, but I'm actually like tapping into, I'm taking responsibility for why or what I created this for, right? Mm-hmm. I want to be present for the experience. So you don't have, it's not about like, it's just, I don't care if he understands it. It's just that your language is saying that you're participating in that sort of belief that you're not doing anything, which,
it's not helping. It's getting worse. So yeah. Like it. And that again is my cognitive mind kind of saying that and buying into it and saying, I don't like this anymore.
That's right. And so then the shift is into, it's always that. It's always like right into the, like, it's like as if there's like a cow patty and we're like, I don't like that. I do not, why are there cow patties all over my house? And then somebody shows up and is like, guess what? If you just stick your face right in it and inhale deeply, they'll go away. So you do, and then they don't go away, right? And then you're like, what the fuck? And then that person shows up at 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock every day and says, just inhale more deeply. Just enjoy it. Just like, oh, are you smiling with your face in that cow patty? Is there a smile on your face? Right? Like, it's crazy town. And it isn't. So again, it's like initially the whole concept is perceived as crazy. We're the ones that look crazy. Smiling and just receiving somebody's attack with love, we're taught that that looks crazy. Smiling and receiving your own body's internal attack with love, with curiosity, it looks crazy at first because we are conditioned to deny the fact that we're powerful. It's dangerous. It's been historically dangerous to be powerful to the degree that we are. So just keep on keeping on as you are. Really finding those edges, really dropping more deeply into like full awareness of your power. Anyone else?
I'm just really envisioning this as a dance. It's been a dance that I've done really well. I love to dance.
Nice.
And I've done this one so well. You act, I react. I act, wait for you to react. And then we solve it. Yeah. And now I'm just going
Ooh.
to step out of the dance.
You know what? That's a much lovelier. So forget the bow and arrow and the
Oh, I
gun.
kind of I'm not a violence person at all either. I mean,
But
I'm Canadian too. We don't do guns, right? But
so
that was
imagine,
so perfect. I thought, ooh, that's a lot faster.
yeah, exactly. So imagine if it is a dance, which I do love that. And so all your life you've been practicing the salsa, all your
Yeah.
life. And then for some reason you find out that ballet is actually like gonna, if you learned ballet,
Well, let's not push it.
all your
How
dreams
about a
will,
waltz?
whatever, all your dreams will come true if you learn a different style that is very different.
Slow it down.
So then you are at a
Yeah.
dance and you're gonna want to bust out your salsa moves. Like you're gonna want to because you're comfortable there and it's everybody knows you that way and it's how you know how to dance with all of your current partners. So when you choose to shift, at first you're going to be awkward. You're starting at square one again. You're not skilled at it. You might only be a ballerina for like a few steps and then boom, you're back to salsa.
You feel like everybody's looking at you and laughing.
Even sillier. And then people are like, I thought you were learning a different dance.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to breathe your way through all your problems.
Yeah.
No, look at you now. Why are you yelling at me? And it's like, oh, shut up. So be easy on yourself, right? You're learning a new skill. And when the heat gets turned up, that's when you grab for the skill that you were just habitually familiar with. You're really good at thinking through shit. You're
Yeah.
really good at going to the doctor. You're really good at blaming your, like, not taking responsibility for your creation. We're all so good at that stuff. And it's
Here's the
right in
problem,
the
solve
form.
the problem, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
praised for it. Everybody feels more comfortable. If you would just go to the doctor, Fran, everybody would relax. They wouldn't have to worry about your rash so much. So you're really bothering everybody by taking responsibility for it. Plus, you sound like a crazy person. So then your husband has to, I'm just totally throwing him out. I have no idea, but let's just imagine. Oh, great. We're going to go to dinner tonight. And in France, somebody's going to notice her rash. And then they're going to ask her, why haven't you gone to the doctor? And then she's going to start to say that she's breathing and taking responsibility for herself. And that's going to be awkward for everybody at the dinner table. And oh my God, I wish she would just. And probably part of you knows that if you just went to urgent care and got an opinion, then you could tell everyone, listen, I went. I'm secretly still doing it my way, but now you guys can all just feel better. So just
Yeah, so I got both. Yeah.
so just notice though that there's only you and anybody that's uncomfortable with you being powerful is a reflection of you being uncomfortable with you being powerful. So
Yeah.
out of our heads and into our physical sensations in our body because we don't want to figure it out past that. If that got you to go, oh yeah, then right away, if once it gets interesting, that's when you want to get out of it. It's done its job. Get out of it. Get into your body.
I love you all. I have to go. Thank you so much, Jody. This was amazing.
Who is a ballerina? Kid. Sherry. It's not, I haven't seen Ed yet. Ed is at noon in a few hours. So, video. Hi, Joanne. Up until now, I didn't know the right words to say. New awareness, I have all the words I'll ever need and use them in just the right harmony. So funny too. Like every time, Sherry, that you've unmuted, I've listened to you run a class. You got the right words. But it doesn't, it's like when somebody is like, oh, I feel so fat, and then everyone tells them, but you look so good. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you guys think of how it's me. I'm sharing my perception of myself. I have doubt about the words.
For me, I've been on social media for like 7 years now. And now that I'm kind of changing, I got hung up on this before up until now, but it's like I'll go like create a video without an audience and it's like and And I'm like, what the fuck was that? Let's do that again. And then again, it's like, oh, how do I word this just perfectly? And I'm like, oh, fuck it.
Oh, girl. So I don't know when exactly you wrote this. Was it when I was talking about content creation and how when I go to sit down to create, that's when I start to get the like, oh, this is useless. What was I thinking? Why did I think I even had anything to say? So that's when spell breaking on the fly starts to become like, oh, hang on, this is like an internal creation here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this will be helpful strategy, but one thing that I started to do was actually deliberately post the worst version. Like the one that I was like, this is terrible. Like I got
Yeah.
stuff in my teeth. I said the wrong words. I didn't get to the point. Nothing that I said even made sense. I just put it out there. And then it's
Started doing that too. I create two. I'll create one for one social media and then a different one for another one. I'm like, well,
oh
there
yeah,
you go.
do like a test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this too. A couple weeks, maybe last week, we talked about like what I had done for myself, wrote down all the things I hated about myself. What I've noticed since I've started here with you is like this procession has happened. One spell breaks here, which then leads to the next, the next, the next. The unfolding is massive. Like
Yeah.
I've completely changed who I am. And so I've noticed, like, I come here and I'm like, what am I actually going to do here today other than breathe? Like, I think I'm going to get to the point where it's like I'm showing up just to breathe with everybody because it feels so freeing in my body. And it's like, fuck, other than start going, okay, 6,000 clients and 6,000 students, let's just roll those in, right? But it's already starting to pick up. Everything's picking up massively.
So there is a little bit of, I can't remember where I picked this up. I think it maybe was publicly announced, but there's some chatter. L5 is aware of this phenomenon for sure, where it's, you're not wrong. It's like, well, what am I showing up to spell break? Like, I feel good. I used to actually talk about that phenomenon in my classes. The new problem is like, I don't, what do I do if I have no problems, right? Like my new problem is having no problems. Like when we have nothing to work on, we don't know what to do. And and it also feels not normal, right? It's like, is it possible that I have no problems? Like, well, anyways, um, so Abigail has been, where did I hear this? It must have been in the group yesterday, talking about, she says, I think that it would be beneficial to help people really like sit down and understand what it looks like to design your ultimate day. What does it look like to have like spell breaking sessions, deliberate spell breaking? Like, I liken it to a gym. You know, you go in a gym to get in shape, like you come to L5 to get yourself like, you know, in shape, like get your life in shape, however that looks. And then, so at the gym, let's say, yeah, you go, you work with a personal trainer, you learn how to use all the equipment, you start your, and you get into physical shape. And then it's not like, okay, that's done. Like you keep going back to the gym once a day to sustain and to maintain your health. So it's like that in here as well. So anyway, she's looking at what does it look like to, she said, I think maybe people need help understanding like that it's such a foreign thing to not have problems to work on. We don't know what the fuck to do with ourselves if we don't have a problem to work on. And I really do think that that is a bit of a void in our current culture because it is so, because nobody stands in the grocery store like that. We don't know what it looks like when somebody is present in their life and just living. We really only have predominant examples of people figuring out a problem that they have and then figuring out how to fix it. So at some living examples of like, this is what it looks like. So it's coming. Sometimes the choice is and. I don't know what that, I'm lost on that one, Edward, but feel free.
Yeah. In choosing either one action or the other, sometimes the choice is both. And then it becomes, which one do you do first?
Oh, right.
I
Like
think I
the bow and
mentioned that
arrow or the
frequently.
gun kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like when
Well,
you've got two things that you're working on.
going to the, well, like Fran's example of going to the doctor and breathing, maybe that's the choice, the external and the internal. For me, I always joke with my kids about when we go to a restaurant and we can't figure out what to eat on the menu. I say, well, okay, what do you want to have next time? If you've got it narrowed down to two, pick next time's option, and then this one winds up being the default. And then every once in a while, it's like, well, let's do and. I'll have one, you have the other, and we'll split, go halvesies. So,
Right. Yeah.
you know, try to get out of your head, as it were.
Yeah, I think you're right. So it's funny because in the physical world, there's lots of concepts that work, and then when you apply them to the ethereal, it doesn't always fully translate. Although definitely, like so if we look at the bow and arrow and the gun, what a great idea. Have both, right? Like have both. Just have both available, especially when you're not very skilled with the gun yet. Such a ridiculous example. Anyway, especially when you're not very skilled with the gun. And surely you're going to feel safer because you want that backup, right? The thing in this container is that you're the powerful creator. And if you leave that bow and arrow behind, you're going to learn so much faster and with so much more, like you're going to really drop into, whoa, wait a minute, I'm powerful. But if you have the bow and arrow, you won't, because there really is a like, I used to say it's almost like throwing yourself off a cliff and hoping you sprout wings. You've done all the research. You're sure that it's true. You're sure that you are the powerful creator. But it's jumping off that cliff that gets the wings to sprout. So if you have a backup parachute, what are the chances that you're going to like freak out and pull the cord? You know what I mean? So in that one circumstance, the and isn't always it holds you back in those
Okay.
examples, right? But there are other ones like you're saying where it's like, yeah, we don't have to choose, just get it all. You're the powerful creator. Do the and. But yeah, in some circumstances, it's like straddling the fence of like the powerful creator. You'll be right. That's the thing. So every time you grab for the bow and arrow and it's like, oh, thank goodness I had my old habits here handy to grab. You'll continually reinforce that you kind of need that still. And you really want to fully fall over into it, or you really end up creating a lot more rooms in your haunted house that's where it's like you'll infinitely present yourself with ways to apply it, but never really get anywhere if you still have that backup. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Kim, why is it true that when I'm sad, I feel safe, that everything is truly working out as intended? Why is it true that I'm safe to feel sad? Feel safe. I hear what you're saying there, Kim. And I think I know a bit about what you're expressing. Why is it true that when I am sad, I feel safe, that everything is truly working out as intended? One of the things, a concept I think that you bring in often is that there's a working out, like it's a later on, you're going to see that it's all truly working out. And the capital T truth, Kim, is that it's already, even in the unfold, like even when you open the door to one of the haunted house rooms and it's in its full glory, like it's a real gory scene that you created, it's already working out. Like there's a surrender of judgment of what is in front of you. If it's there, it's for you and it's perfect. Like Annette just gave us a very powerful example of, somebody leaving their body in the middle of lovemaking right on top of you. So a lot of minds would want to go, okay, well, eventually I'm going to realize this was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like some way, somehow, someday, one day, I'll be able to say, oh, that was the best thing that could have happened. And it's really challenging to do that when you're trying to intellectually draw some sort of linear line to how is this ever going to be the best thing. So this is kind of that jump off the cliff kind of like scenario where it's like, can we in the moment stay present in the body for what is occurring and receive it, receive the gift in it. So in this case, Kim, it's that sadness is the gift in whatever you're perceiving in front of you right now. Not that later on all of those events are going to like weave themselves into a story that you go, oh, well, isn't it the best thing that these guys got divorced and that the kids, isn't it the best thing that the kid ran away at 12 years old because now he's 25 and he's a lawyer and he credits all of his success to the hard times he went through when he was 12. So that's an intellectual, that's a like bodysuit way of soothing ourselves in the moment, trying to hope that it's going to work out in a narrative that we judge as good. And can you guys kind of feel like how you have to surrender a lot of your power into the mental body to create a scenario, like to even just like blow your imagination into a space where you think, okay, well, if things work in this particular manner, then I will feel safe to experience it because it will be good. Where the real power comes from receiving the gift in the moment, and everything is benevolent. There's assume benevolence constantly. Is that landing, Kim? Assume benevolence constantly. Why is it true that why is it true I am safe to feel sad? Why is it true that everything is truly working out as intended? That everything is truly working out as intended. Yeah, in the moment. Does that make sense? Yes, I now hear the fix-it timeline. Yeah, that's right. It's already perfect, love. It's already perfect. And the like trick is to stay present in the now. In the moment when we have just like opened the door to yet another room and we're like, really? Wow, I really went all out on this room. I really created a bunch of scenarios that I just want to squeeze my eyes closed and slam the door and get the fuck away from this room. But the gift in it is whatever emotion comes flying out of that room when you open the door and you let yourself see. It's the emotional charge and the physical experience that you are simultaneously experiencing. And so I'll just remind you one more time of the story, and you've lived through this. When you guys do that, when you shift to being a ballerina instead of the salsa dancer that you're so accomplished at being, when you shift in that moment, you're not going to be very good at it. You're not going to pop up on your points right away. So you'll be a little messy at the door. But when you shift, when you take that energy and you shift into noticing your experience, you breathe. And depending on the level of like fight or flight that's turned on, you might initially be breathing a bit like sometimes it takes a bit to stay present in a big experience. But as you do that and you keep your attention laser focused on that sensation, and you breathe and you breathe and you breathe and you breathe and you open your eyes and keep breathing and you notice the sensation, but you open your eyes and you look at the room again and you keep looking at the sensation with your attention and you keep breathing and keep doing that, the room redecorates itself. It does, because it's a misperception. Assume benevolence constantly. You'll know that you're sane and in your body when somebody's storming down the aisle and you look like this. Yay. When you open the door to one of your haunted house rooms and it's a bad one and you don't see it as bad, you go, oh, whoa, look at the creative energy I put in this room. When you can start to look at scenarios that used to make your skin crawl and your face go into like, you can't, it's just like distorted with like fear, and you can smile when you look at it, that's when you're really living from your power. That's when you don't care if anyone else at the dinner table has an awareness. You know you're a powerful creator. Even that dinner table of people rolling their eyes, not being able to eat their soup because you're so awkward. Even that, you realize, oh, wait, this is a haunted house room. I created these people, this scenario where nobody understands creation. And so all of a sudden your smile starts to spread and you don't see that scene as scary anymore. You see it as a gift. You're like, oh, what am I feeling? It's fun, right? Being in your own life. Okay. Love you guys. See you at 3.